I want to do this. Let's get you updated on our other live trial happening in Indiana. It's the Delphi Murder Trial playing out there against Richard Allen. Remember, this is a case where Richard Allen, the defendant, is accused of killing two teenage girls, Abby Williams and Liberty German, back in 2017, went unsolved for years. He faces up to 130 years in prison if he's convicted. This case has rocked the nation, and we're finally at the trial stage. Here with us now is Court TV senior producer Barbara MacDonald, and you're joining us from your car, which is kind of poetic, Barbara, because when I first met you 2 years ago on Halloween, it was pouring cats and dogs there in Delphi, Indiana, when they made the announcement that they made an arrest in the case.
Absolutely. 2 years ago today, and then it was a year later on Halloween when the original defense team was kicked off the case. Eventually they were put back on. So Halloween has some significance in the case of Richard Allen. Today we are expecting the state to rest. Their witness, though, that was on the stand all morning today is Indiana State Police Master Trooper Brian Harshman. And he basically was tasked with surveilling Richard Allen once he went into custody. So he monitored all of his communications, his text messages, his video chats, and his phone calls. There were 700 phone calls, he testified today, and the state introduced 7 of them as evidence. Now, the first phone call was from the 14th of November of 2022. So this was about 2 weeks after Richard Allen was arrested and taken into custody, and then for his safekeeping, housed in solitary confinement in a maximum security prison. And in that phone call that he made to his wife, the witness testified that Richard Allen said, "If this becomes too much for you," meaning his wife, "I'll tell them whatever they want to hear." That was his testimony. But then they played that call. And what Richard Allen said to his wife was, "If this becomes too much for you, I'll tell them what they want me to say." So a little difference there, and it'll be interesting how much weight the jury decides to give that information. Now, in the other 6 calls, one of the calls that was played today was a mistake. It should not have been on the prosecutor's file. He actually meant to include a different call that we should be hearing this afternoon. But in those 6 calls, or rather 5 calls that we heard, Richard Allen does say repeatedly, "I did it. I killed Abby and Libby." And he also tells his wife he feels like he's losing his mind, that he feels like he's in hell, that he doesn't know what's going on. Now, in all of these calls, she tells him not to say those things, that she doesn't believe that he did it. She says, "No, you did not," when he says, "I did it." And the prosecutor, Bradley Rosie, on cross-examination, referred to all of those admissions as unique, or rather generic. And the one unique call that this officer, this Master Trooper Harshman, said that he noticed happened actually in a confession that Richard Allen gave to his prison psychologist, Dr. Monica Walla. And in her report, she wrote that Richard Allen told her that he was interrupted. He had abducted these girls from that bridge that's on your screen now, intending to take them down near the creek where he intended to rape them. But he says that a van shocked him, surprised him, and interrupted what he was planning. So he marched the girls across the creek and killed them before leaving the area. Now, that van, according to the investigation that this same officer conducted, belonged to Brad Weber, who lives on the south side of that bridge and was working in Lafayette at the time, back in 2017, and was returning home from work sometime around 2:30, was the testimony, between 2:27 and 2:30 p.m., in a white Ford Econovan that he was driving, and that they believe that is the unique feature. That is the one detail that this officer testified to that only the killer would know. that Brad Weber was returning home at that time and stopped this attack. The defense yesterday had Brad Weber on the stand very briefly. They gave him a subpoena. We do expect him to be back when they present their case in chief, which could begin as early as tomorrow. Matt?
Yeah, it's a fascinating case, and we're finally at this point in time. You're joining us in your car once again because it's raining outside, and it was raining in Delphi when they announced the arrest of Richard Allen 2 years ago on Halloween.